Oh, hi. I was reading some reviews, and a lot of people are saying to get new jokes. Strangely enough, I got the best joke 12 years ago.
Superhero video games.
Oh, I knew it smelled like shit.
You know, superhero video games make total sense. Video games allow you to be something you can never be in real life. Oh, finally, I can be a depressed, poor, homeless college student. Superheroes have always been associated with saving the world, fighting bad guys, being awesome, and the idea of a video game where you are a superhero, brilliant. But a lot of superhero games over the years kinda fucking stunk. They've been around for the longest time. Earliest I can think of is Spider-Man for the Atari 2600.
You know, oddly enough, this is one of the better superhero games.
While there were a handful of original superhero video games, most are based on whatever movie is coming out. I mean, back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a Batman game made each time a movie came out, but there was also a decent amount of original games. And the tie-in games weren't always relegated to just films. Some of them drew inspiration from some TV shows like Superman on Nintendo 64.
Now do you believe what I was saying about Spider-Man?
While superhero games stayed mostly original in the 90s, nothing could brace us for the 2000s. Oh my. This was the era where superhero movies really took off. It started with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, then Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, and then Iron Man, which blossomed into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And with all of these films came movie tie-in games, and not just any movie tie-in games, bad ones. Okay, some of the Spider-Mans were okay, but Batman Begins?
Well, that was a short career for Batman.
But it was Batman who began to lead the charge of making superhero games good. Batman Arkham Asylum, released in 2009, was loosely based on the comics and instead told its own original story. Combine that with well-designed gameplay and a stellar voice cast, and Batman Arkham redefined what a superhero game was. You didn't have to base it on a movie for it to be a success, you just had to make a good game. Now we are in a renaissance with superhero games. Not all are winners, but we've gotten more stellar original superhero games, and I think Arkham was responsible for all of that. But even after Arkham, movie tie-in games lived on for a few more years, especially with the MCU films. All of the Phase 1 MCU films besides Avengers all received tie-in games, some of them sharing the title with the film they're based on, others adding dumb subtitles like Super Soldier and God of Thunder. Yeah, that is a God of Thunder.
And that's why we have Thor, God of Thunder. But it's gotta go deeper than that, right?
Well, the game was developed by Sega. Yeah, that's Sega. They developed the flagship version of the game for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Sega was talking this game up. I mean, Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston lent their voices and likenesses. They must have thought they were making Jesus 2.0. But the version I have was developed by Red Fly Studios, a studio who focused on developing Wii ports. They developed the Wii version of The Force Unleashed 2, which was okay enough, so this must have turned out quite good. What happened here? The game was released on Xbox 360, Wii, PlayStation 3, and DS on May 3rd, 2011 in North America, and a 3DS port came out on September 13th, 2011. The flagship version took a beating, getting a low Metacritic score. The Nintendo versions fared a bit better, with more mixed reviews, the DS version reviewing the best.
No, it's almost like it's a completely different game.
The Wii and 3DS version, which are pretty much the same, reviewed okay, but who cares what these game critics have to say? It's my opinion that truly matters. My god, this game is ass! I do not remember how I ended up with this game in my possession. I've known I've owned it for years, but I don't remember how I got it. I can only assume my mom was out getting me a Wii game once, saw a Thor game and was like, oh, my son likes Marvel, he'll like this. I remember playing the first level years ago and I haven't touched it since.
I've still played it the most out of anybody else in this world. I know I said this with Madden 09, but if this game is your childhood, I don't even need to finish that statement. This game is no one's childhood. But how can people talk shit on this game? No one's played it. And what, are you gonna track down a copy and play it just so you can rightfully call it bad? Well, thankfully, I already have a copy, so now all I have to do is play it, and then I can rightfully call it bad. Oh shit, this game has a disc? Might not be so bad after all.
Well, taking a quick look at the manual, damn, this is a quick look. Oh wow, the button that says A is the A button.
What a revolutionist.
Well, let's press A to start. I know what button that is, I read the manual. Well, we start with the cutscene, and I like the cutscene style. It looks like a comic book with thick outlines around the characters, it looks nice. Well, the story, so these bad guys want to kill Odin, I guess, so someone helps them get into Asgard, so Thor goes to stop them. He then flies in and growls. does he mean business? Well, the first level is the Jotun invasion. These are the Jotun and they sure are invading.
Checks out.
Interestingly enough, the game does have motion controls, but you can also attack with A. A is its own separate attack, so you have to use motion controls, but also A.
I told you, a revolutionist.
Well, this serves as a tutorial level, and you fight your way through Asgard. The game itself is a simple hack and slash with motion controls. Pull off combos, kill ice guys, and walk to the end of the level. And the level ends with the easiest boss fight ever. Well, one of Thor's friends died, and Loki manipulates Thor to leave Asgard. Odin revives Thor's friend and goes to sleep, and now nobody is around to protect Asgard. The approach is the same as the Jotun invasion, but in another map. Even the same boss fight, but just a tad more difficult. How lame. Flight to Mount Ymir. This is one of the Wii exclusive fight levels, something they decided was worthy on being on the back of the box. This is just putrid. It's a Sin and Punishment type rail shooter, but unlike Sin and Punishment, this is ass. But it is exclusive to the Wii version of the game, so this is Game of the Year worthy. The Avalanche. We ride down Mount Ymir on a piece of ice fighting more Jotun. Wow, fighting Jotun? How original. At the end, we also get to destroy Ymir with a quick time event. Niflheim Core. Again, icy environment, fight Jotun and the same damn boss for the third time. This game is mechanically okay so far, but my god is it lazy. But then you fight Ymir and oh my god. So it starts with Ymir dragging you down a pit. Shake the Wii remote and nunchuck to escape, then you have to fly up, avoiding icicles that come out of the wall. It seems easy, but Thor moves so slow that sometimes you know where you need to go, but you can't get there fast enough. Then later on, the icicles will come out faster and you can't see when you're recovering from being hit, so you hit even more. Then there's quick time events where you have to swing the Wii remote in certain directions, and again, not hard, but my Wii remote won't register these directions. And if you fail, back to the pit. After dealing enough damage, you enter a mini cutscene for about 5 seconds, then you have to do another quick time event. But I didn't know this, so I set down the controller, and by the time I realized it's time to do a quick time event, it's too late. Guess who has to do the whole fight all over again? Well, after defeating Ymir, this guy's released on Asgard, and Loki wants to stop him to seem like a hero, but Sif stops him. I don't know, I'm barely following the plot. Odin is woken up, and they need to find Thor, and the arrival of big improvements. No ice in sight, just some Norse hallways, nothing exciting, but something different. New enemy types, gameplay mechanics, overall an improvement. Frostgrinder continues the improvement, starting with beginning in an outdoor area. You start with fighting a bunch of enemies, which is okay, so the combat is okay. You then fly to a castle and start fighting through it, and it's okay too, but just drags on for a bit too long. Overall though, it's fine. Oleg's Palace, just a big boss fight with Oleg. Once again, a huge step up. Instead of being a copy-pasted reused boss, Oleg is something completely original, and to even damage him, you have to ditz around and do a ton of other stuff. Once again, a nice improvement. Burning Town. Thor is now on Earth in a burning town, once again fighting a new type of enemy. Once again, a big improvement. It's still running around and fighting enemies, but a new environment really does help. Police Station. Same enemies, now in a police station. Not much to say besides new environment, woo. Although the boss fight at the end is new, a giant hellish monster. I love its design, I sure hope he isn't reused multiple times. Harvester of Worlds. I really like this environment. Fiery rocky area. Nice contrast to all the blue ice hallways of the earlier levels. This level wouldn't end. Yeah, this is a pretty good level besides the fact that it just feels like it goes on forever. Also, it reuses the boss fight from the police station. My god, is originality that hard? Flight to Twilight, another flight level, no thanks. Like Flight to Mount Ymir, but with a different, more interesting environment. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still the same shitty flying mechanics doing the same boring shitty thing. You eventually land and have to fight some enemies on foot, which is unique for this flight level, but it really doesn't change much. Sword Forge, another hellish temple. The hell theme is really starting to lose its luster. This level overall just feels repetitive. And it ends with the same damn fire boss again. Are you kidding me? Surtur is a giant boss fight against Surtur, and this is neat. There's a flying section towards the end, which sucks because it's a flight section, but it's cool to have in the middle of a fight. Invasion area, back on Asgard, but now with fire everywhere. It's fine, I guess, but just feels pretty repetitive and boring again. This poor realm can't catch a break. And lastly, Odin's Hall. It's just a boss fight. It's okay. Also, this game's credits, my god, are they fast. Outside of the campaign, you can collect things to see concept art and other useless stuff. You can also collect costumes, upgrade Thor. There are some challenges, but that's mainly it.
And that is Thor God of Thunder on Wii. It kinda sorta sucks.
I didn't really like this game. The gameplay was pretty repetitive and the design was incredibly lazy. They designed 4 unique enemy types and reused them for multiple levels, which was so lazy. The bosses being reused was also incredibly lazy, and the fact that I got excited when I saw trees?
I think that means the game is ass.
It's mechanically fine besides the frame rate dropping. There isn't anything really broken about it. It's not unfairly hard, it's just kind of whatever. It's lazy, it's boring, and that's just the Wii version because the 360 version is apparently worse. But it's a movie tie-in game, it's okay. It doesn't follow the movie that much. I mean, Thor is mainly about Thor being sent to Earth to learn about what it's like to be mortal. It's a coming-of-age story where he realizes what it truly means to be worthy. I think the film itself is pretty underrated. It's a solid fish out of water tale, and while it's a bit slow at times, I think it tells a good Thor story and serves as a good introduction of Thor into the MCU. Now, the game does not follow the plot because what could they have done? A quick time event where you try to pull out Thor's hammer? As a Thor game, this is okay. They reached into the comics and brought in some iconic Thor villains like Surtur. With being based on a single 2-hour film, they found a way to tell a story that lasts 3 hours. Jeez. As a licensed movie tie-in game for kids that was simply puked out to promote the film, it's fine, but that doesn't excuse it from being a bad game.
In the realm of superhero games, I put it above Superman 64 and below Batman Begins. Just wait until I reveal the full metric, then you'll really have something to shit your pants about. But that's enough of that. I wonder what day it is. Oh shit, it's opposite day? I just spent the last couple of minutes complimenting the game. But I only have a minute and a half left. I need to find a quick way that I can reverse everything I've said.
Lego, Marvel, and Shattered Dimensions, Iron Man 2 among the greatest inventions. Batman, Arkham, Spider-Man 2, sure, all these games just make me go woo! But there's one game better, don't you see? It's Thor God of Thunder on the Wii. Published by Sega in 2011, now playing it. Am I in heaven? If we take a look back at the polls, this game had sick motion controls. Makes it feel like Thor, the God of Thunder. They don't have this game in the land down under? Thor's hammer hits with a mighty whack. He controls so well you'd think he's on crack. Specific moves lead to powerful attacks. This game is so good, look at all of its plaques.
But that's just the game's mechanics. There's so much more than that. 16 whole levels. But what are they like? Well,
starting off with the Jotun invasion, my god, what a special occasion. Then you got the approach. As cool as this broken stage coach.
Flight to Mount Ymir. This level alone deserves Game of the Year.
Following is the Avalanche. This game goes so well with booze and rant. The arrival follows Niflheim Core. This game thankfully never feels like a chore. Frost Grinder and Oleg's Palace. Wait, Frost Grinder? My god, that sounds phallus. Burning Town and Police Station. Burn downtown? Time for migration. Harvester of Worlds. Flight to Twilight. The chance of getting tired of this is slight. Sword Forge. Mamba George. Fight Sword Tour. This shit got me sword. Invasion Area and lastly Odin's Hall. Oh my god, this ending made me ball. This game may only take 3 hours to beat, but it'll make you shout, this game is so neat! I really hope you try it. I love this with my heart. Now I'm gonna turn this off and play Mario Kart.
remember, the opposite of Mario Kart is something bad.